Welcome, Rabbi Say, to our Monday night shiur, Parashat Shemot. We're going to try to, first of all, thank you to all our sponsors for tonight. Hashem should bless them, Babracha, Revacha, Tzlacha, and especially also Ephraim ben Yeshua, Hashem yishtach lo refuah shlema. He should be healed very soon, and he should go back to work, and he should be functioning. And to all the other sponsors, Hashem should bless them, Zivug Agun, Bracha, Revacha, Zahat, Parashat, Shefa, Yishuot Gedolot, Bechol Mechizno, alright? Amen. Rabbi Say, tonight, after last week's shiur, which was a bit of a tokef shiur, I want to say some good stuff. Stories. You know, stories was yesterday you went to. I want to say some good sigulot, some things to do. I want to connect to the parasha. I want to say something beautiful tonight. I mean, I hope it's beautiful. I mean, to me it is. And I want to share with you guys some beautiful chidush that I've had for a very long time, which I myself used to use as when I was single. You know, people shouldn't think that just because a person learns Torah, does mitzvot, that Hashem is going to give him a zivug, and it's going to be magic. You know, it's not. There's no hocus pocus over here, and everything is based on a person's tikkun and a person's mazal and a person's his zechuyot, his zechut, and his of course hishtadlut. Rabbi said hishtadlut is part of everything in life, right? Says Rabbeinu, you know, I want to, because you said hishtadlut, I guess gotta say something in the name of Rabbeinu Avraham ben Harambam, if I may. And I must speak Lovdei Hashem, the guide to serving God. Rabbeinu Avraham ben Harambam, who's the Rambam's yortzeit was last night. Yeah. Rabbeinu Avraham ben Harambam, my favorite Musar book by far. He writes, what's hishtadlut? How do you say hishtadlut in English? Effort. Where does my effort go? Because on one hand they say, you put too much effort as if you don't believe in Hashem. You know? On the other hand, I mean, for the love of Hashem, Yaakov Avinu is going to Eretz Yisrael, Eretz Canaan, Esav is coming to him, he makes a whole shebang over there. He's preparing sheep and camels and nursing camels and female donkeys, and he's doing all this hishtadlut. Vayira Yaakov, and Yaakov is afraid, and Moshe, he's also afraid when Paro comes to meet him by the Yam Suf, and the Am Yisrael is split into three groups. One that wants to jump into the sea, one that wants to go back into Egypt, one wants to fight Egypt. We see so many different kinds of chachayim did hishtadlut. Effort, they put effort. Right? Avraham Avinu did hishtadlut with Avimelech. Yitzchak did hishtadlut with Avimelech. Where does hishtadlut start? Where does hishtadlut end? Effort. You got to put in your own effort. And I think Rabbeinu Avraham hits the ball on the mark over here. He says, all those things that you say, the Chachamim said, you have to have utmost emunah in Hashem, and you have to go, how you say, just yashar. The bullets could be flying, go yashar. Rabbeinu Avraham ben Harambam says, that's only if a Navi, or a person with Ruach HaKodesh, has a direct commandment from Hashem, go. To go. For example, Yonah HaNavi. He knew that he was running away from Hashem. He knew that Hashem was running after him. He knew that he had a mission to go. He knew that he would be saved. Because Hashem told him, go to Nineveh. Hashem said it. It has to happen. So he jumped into the water, and the fish, not the whale. The fish, it was a fish, not a whale. And this huge fish from under the sea swallowed him up. Because he knew that he was going to survive. Because Hashem told him, go to Nineveh. But if a person doesn't have a direct commandment from Hashem, he's not allowed to put himself into sakana, in danger. How do we know that? It's a halakha. Let's say a person says, I have emunah in Hashem. I'm going to go to shul, and outside it's icy cold and everything. I'm just going to put on my coat, no scarf, no hat. I'm going to go. The Chachamim say if he gets sick, it's on him. It's not on Hashem. Because he says, Hakol b'dei shamayim, chutz mitzini mupachim. What's tzini mupachim? Cold and a flu. If you're stupid enough not to put on your hat and your scarf, that's not on Hashem's fault. It's your fault. Negligence beat you. Also, when the place where it's dangerous, you don't say Shiluchem mitzvah einam nizokim. You don't say I'm going to do a mitzvah, I don't get hurt. There's no damage that happens to a person that goes to do a mitzvah. In the place that there is damage that happens normally, you can't say that. So for example, if you go to a place where a lot of people are sick, and you say, I'm going to teach Torah, I'm not going to get sick. You're wrong. Bimkom dishchicha hezeka, we don't say shiluchem mitzvah einam nizukim. But who says that your zechut is strong enough to protect you? So when do we say that a person has to have blind faith? You know what blind faith is? The bullets are flying, you're still going to go. Only when Hashem tells you, go. But if you didn't hear Hashem to tell you, go, you can't take upon yourself that risk. You still have to do effort. Hishtadlut. Same thing with Parnasah. Same thing with Zivug. Same thing with Chinuch Yiladim. A person can't say, you see this, how come they say, rabbis, their kids go off the derech. But a person who comes from humble beginnings, they rise up to be Talmidei Chachamim. Why is that? Sometimes rabbis say to themselves, I'm going to go learn Torah. Hashem is going to raise the kids. What is for you, Diski? A person has to put 4 or 5 hours a day into his children. From the moment he wakes up until he goes to sleep. The last thing they should see is you.
Until what age?
Until all the ages. A person has to know how to work with them. That's already something, relatively speaking. I can't answer for that. But a person, what happens? Rabbis, Chachamim, they're all their life with the Kahal. They give all their life to Hashem. Listen, I'm religious. At home we keep Shabbat. They're also going to keep Shabbat. That's wrong. Then those kids go off the derech. But it's not something out of the norm. Why? Because they don't give effort to the kids. Because they're always with somebody else. That's wrong. That's no effort. You got to do hishtadlut. Unless Hashem tells you, like by Chizkiyahu HaMelech, he's going to grow up. He's going to be Ish Shalom, Pele Yoetz, Sar Shalom. That's something else. Then Hashem told him he's going to be like that. But other like that, Bimkom Dishchicha Hezeka, En Omrim, we don't say in a place that there is danger, Shiluchem Mitzvah Einam Nizukim. People who doing a mitzvah don't get hurt. Therefore, don't think because you put on tefillin and keep Shabbat, that suddenly you have some kind of divine protection. Because you don't know what zchuyot you need, what zchuyot you don't need, what in Shamayim they putting into your bank account, what they're not putting into your bank account. In general, a person shouldn't serve Hashem to put points in his bank account. That's a very low level of serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, you should serve Hashem for the sake that you should have more time to learn Torah. I'm going to tell you guys something, and I'm going to go back to the Parashat. It's connected. The Rambam says, what's Yemot HaMashiach? Yemot HaMashiach. So they say, when Mashiach comes, it's going to be diamonds coming out of the earth. You're not going to have to go to work. You're going to want to eat. You're going to go to the tree. Give me a croissant. Suddenly the tree is going to take out to you chocolate croissant. That's what the Midrash says. You're going to want Kechol Hayam, it says. You know what Kechol Hayam is? Like the says he. The Rambam doesn't agree with that too much. He says that, but then he explains himself. He says when Mashiach comes, everybody is going to be free to learn Torah.
You mean you have time?
Yeah. So what does that mean? Because you have a lot of money? Or is it because you don't want the money anymore?
Because you don't want money anymore.
Because you don't want the money anymore.
You want to say
that's why money is going to be on the floor like the garbage. You understand? It's not because miraculously from the ground it's going to start belching out dollars. You understand?
The question, would you need the money, not would you want the money?
If you don't need it, if you don't want it, then you don't need it. Everything we have in this world, everything that we want is because all of our problems we created for ourselves. You understand? So if you don't want it anymore, then you don't need it. If you don't need it, then you have time to learn Torah. So really all those guys in Kollel learning Torah, this and that, they're already living in the time of Mashiach. For them, it doesn't make a difference. Mashiach comes, Mashiach doesn't come. For them, they're still learning Torah. The only difference is Right now they're learning Torah, how you say, on the surface. Then they're going to learn Torah b'pnimiyut. How you say b'pnimiyut? The inner Torah, the atayat. We in Leshem, I know everybody over here, their neshama is from the pnimiyut. So I'm already trying to give you a taste of the Torah you guys are going to learn when Mashiach is going to come. You think Mashiach is going to come give you a shiur Torah on Shorsh and Nagach Para? We had 6,000 years of that already. He's going to teach you the pnimiyut of Shorsh and Nagach Para. He's going to teach you the inner works of the Torah. What was Hashem thinking behind all of this? What was the pnimiyut? What was the sod? What was his midot? What was the characteristic? What was the sefirah behind everything? Tonight I'm going to touch on something that has to do with Shovavim. Now we talked a lot about Shovavim last week. We talked about all the averot. We talked about histaklut ba'arayot. We talked about Rav Shalom Gadaev, shivcha, zona. We talked all about that stuff. We said it once, we don't have to repeat it again. But what's the answer to all of this? Chachamim say there is no answer. A person was born in sin and he's going to die in sin. What does that mean? It's a bad thing or a good thing? It's a needed thing. It's a needed. Once Adam ate from Etz Hadat, he ate from the tree of knowledge, there's no kind of thing, a person will live forever. What do I mean by that? The Gemara says 4 people died even though they never made Avera in their life. That means they're not supposed to die. Technically. Because why does a person die? Because he made Averot. But these 4 men, they never died. Number 1, Binyamin. Number 2, Yishai. Number 3, Amram. Aharon sinned. He made the Egel HaZahav. Even though he had good intentions, by the way. He had good intentions. He knew what he was doing, by the way. Right? And he paid for it badly. Ari says he came back 6 times. 6 times. Came back. What? 6 Gilgulim he went through. 6 Gilgulim he went through. You know what it is to go through a Gilgul? Lo aleinu. But Amram, who's the last one? Kalev ben David, right? Kalev ben David, Kilaf, Kalev, whatever. So 4 men, they never sinned in their life. Why did they die? Says the Midrash. Be'etio shel nachash. What's be'etio? Because of the wife? Be'etio shel nachash. Etio is because of the counsel of the snake. What does that mean? When the snake made the whole chimichangas over there, when he did that, no matter what you do in your life, you did Avera, you didn't Avera, everybody has a piece of the Nachash in him now.
In that generation?
No, everyone. Because Adam was everybody. Yeah, huh? Exactly. The Nachash's DNA went inside all of us. To get rid of that Nachash, no matter what did Hashem tell the Nachash? Nachash, afar lachmo. The earth is his lechem. Right? That means all of our bodies have to go back to the afar. So even if you weren't in the sin, you never sinned in your life. You never did one Avera, you still have to die. Why? Because of the Nachash. The Nachash put that poison inside all of us, that no matter what we do, we were born in Avera, and we're gonna die in the Avera. Now, it doesn't mean we're gonna get punished for it. It doesn't mean we're gonna get punished for it. Why? It says, one of the men who never sinned in his life was Yishai.
Still died.
He still died. What's Yishai in English? Jesse. So Jesse, in kol hakavod, Yishai had 600,000 men coming to his shiurei Torah. The Gemara says every time he went in and out, he made a bracha. He was big. He was a big Talmid Chacham. One day he said to himself, many people said back then he wasn't a real Jew. Why? His grandmother was Ruth. Ruth HaMoaviyah. She was a Moabite. Right? So it says that the Moabites can't convert. The Moabites can't convert, or they can't marry into Jews? They can't marry into Jews. They could convert. But they said, but a woman could marry Jews. If they convert, they could. Some rabbis said back then, Chachamim, they can't marry. Even if they woman converts, they cannot. Spor went. Boaz was the head of the tribe of Yehuda. He was paskening, halacha. They could. But they said, he's nogea badavar. He has a personal interest. Why? Who was his second wife? A Moabite convert. So it was spor going on. So Yishai said, because I'm born from that kind of union, I'm gonna be with my maid. He had a maid that was a Knaanite. I'm gonna be with her. She's gonna have a baby, and I'm gonna let him free. Because a baby that comes from a slave is a slave, but once the master lets it free, it becomes a regular Jew. Yeah. The master is the mother. No. The master is the master, but his genealogy, his koren, his status is a slave. You understand? What comes from a slave is a slave. Once I let it free, since it's my property, it becomes what? Automatically? A Jew. So he said, I'm going to be with my maid. He had 7 sons, Yishai, Jesse. He had 7 sons. He didn't do this. He said, I'm going to have a child now from my maid. And that baby I'm going to let free. It's going to be, nobody's going to say Moavi, Shmoavi. The slave, the female slave, she said, listen. She told her mistress, his wife, her name was Chaya.
Jewish.
Yishai's wife was Jewish, regular. She said to him, listen, he wants to do this with me tonight. Let's switch places. Switch. So he thought he was going to the bedroom with his maid, but really who is he going with? His wife. But who is he thinking of? The maid. Who came out? David HaMelech. And to add insult to injury, all of his kids looked like Semites. Black hair, white skin, the tan skin. And David comes out gingy.
It's nothing for no reason.
Yeah, but he didn't know he was with his wife. And suddenly he sees her pregnant. So all of his sons say, let's kill the mama. She cheated on her father. The father said, listen, there's no edim. There's no witnesses. There was no lights, there was no thing, no cameras, nothing. Slicha. That they thought that she cheated. She didn't say anything. She gave birth to the 8th son. He had 8 sons. He had 8 sons and 2 girls.
Same mama, same papa.
Yeah, but it was really his son.
But he don't know.
He don't know. He thought of somebody else. Machshava. He made pegam. Where? B'machshava. That's where I'm trying to get to over here. Pegam machshava.
So this is.
Huh?
So he's not flowing.
Was it really a sin or not? Can I get to it, please? Thank you. And so she gives birth to David. Now Yishai has a problem. He could be a mamzer. He could not be a mamzer. And he's nayim near to edim. There's no witnesses. He said, I'm going to make him the shepherd. The guy who tends to the flock. He's a young kid. He says, lion is going to come. Bear is going to come. Come, eat him. Shalom al Israel. We're going to take care of the problem. What happened? Hashem gave him a lot of bracha. You see, if you're meant for greatness, you don't have to work out in the gym. You're going to be great anyways.
But if you don't know what you're doing,
it doesn't. No, you go the way of Hashem. If you're meant to be a leader, Hashem is gonna put you in that situation.
Doesn't matter what.
It doesn't matter what. I want to be a lawyer, but you're meant to be a doctor. Hashem is gonna always push you for that. He's always gonna push you. You understand? If you fight against that, that's your problem already. You're gonna come back. But in general, a person always, Hashem always puts you in the direction that He wants you to become. Always. You understand? But if a person is stubborn, he has a lot of gava inside of him. He thinks in his life what's more important is money, shmoney, all these things. He doesn't understand what he's not doing is successful. Then Hashem is going to say, Chai, he wants to be a chamor. Chai, let him be. Also, there was a tribe that was also Nimshal Chamor, right? Also considered Jewish. Yisachar Chamor Garem, Rovetz Ben Mishpatayim. But it's not always good to be like that.
But it's not too late.
It's never too late. Even you could be 40. Rabbi Akiva was 40 years old. 40 years old. He learned Aleph Bet. By the way, he wasn't the smartest cookie in the yeshiva. Rabbi Yonatan ben Harkinas told him, if you're the Rebbe of Am Yisrael, they're a lost case. He made fun of him, Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva was humble. He had siyata d'shmaya. See, if you're meant for greatness, you could be 50 years old, 60 years old. You're still going to be in the position you need to be. Hashem is going to put you that way. So too David HaMelech. Lion came to eat him, knocked him out. A bear came, he opened up the bear's mouth, took the sheep out, and he let the bear go. He was the first guy that was pro-animal rights. Don't say we're not pro-animal rights. So we see, and then how did Yishai know that David was a tzaddik, really? He was not a mamzer. Anybody here know? When he got anointed, very good. When he got anointed, that's when he said Hallel. Hallel. Hallel was written when he got anointed. Why? All the sons came. Now the oldest son of Yishai was tall. Dlini? Visoki. He looked like a king. He was strong. His name was Eliav.
Even the name sounds like...
Even the name. Eliav. What's David? David. Eliav. He was strong. He was built. He was tall. Shmuel Hanavi looked at him. He said, Ach neged Hashem v'shicho. Eta... Karol. This is a king. It's a Kaiser. It's a Caesar. It's a king. Hashem said, why are you looking at his outside? You look at the outside. I look in the inside. He's not the king. Why? He was really supposed to be king. Why? He had one problem. Job. Kas.
Anger.
He had an anger problem. People who get angry easily could never be leaders.
You have to,
no?
So many pressure.
You could have fake anger. The Gemara says fake anger. You show like you're angry, but you're really not. That's different. But to have constant anger like Eliav, that's not a king's. That's not a king's midah. 7 sons went. He said none of them are the king. The oil doesn't come out. He says, who's the king? He says, I have one more son on Levi. It's like, I don't know. He's king. He's not. He's a redhead. Redhead. Who heard of a Jew that's a redhead? Mazin. So they bring him. All the brothers are tall. He's short. All the brothers have black hair. He has red hair. All the brothers, he doesn't look like them at all. He puts the oil. Everything comes out. Min hametzar karatia anani b'mechemia odecha ki even ma'asu. That's when he wrote the psalm. Even Ma'asu Abonim. That's when he wrote it. Even Ma'asu. What the Even Ma'asu Abonim? Even it's the stone. He was a small stone. Ma'asu Abonim. Everybody said on his garbage. Hayta lerosh pina. Became the head of the building. Became the crown. He said, Even Ma'asu Abonim. Hayta lerosh pina. Me'et Hashem ha'ita zot. Hi niflat be'enenu. From Hashem it was this. Niflat be'enenu. But here's my kasha, guys. They say Yishai never sinned. He sinned. Where? Pagama machshava. In the head he sinned. He thought that he was with his wife, but he was with, he thought he was with his maid, but who was he really with?
But this is not his fault. It's not the purpose.
So let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, right.
It's not his fault. Let's talk about it. Okay, he had halachically speaking, he was trying to do a little switcheroo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about Pagam Achshav, because let's be honest. Over here, Baruch Hashem, Ben Porat Yosef, Ben Porat Aleaim. This Sunday I saw you guys here in the Tikkun of the Brit. Don't pat yourself on the back, but Baruch Hashem, it was beautiful. It was. I saw a lot of guys. It was good. It was Baruch Hashem. Ken Yirmu. And Pagam, to be metakin, the breed is not one fast, obviously. But you guys have to remember that if you fast for the breed, and then you're going to continue doing the Avera, it's not so shayach, as they say.
Nothing close.
You have to first leave the Avera, and then you metakin the breed. Correct or incorrect? How do you fix the Avera? First of all, anybody who's on his phone for more than 2 hours a day.
On the phone?
On the phone, yeah. On his WhatsApp,
Nice.
on his Instagram, on his Rav Shalom TikTok, Facebook. I mean, it's impossible. You're on these things and your mind is clean. It's impossible. Let's be honest with each other. So first of all, azivat hachet means you have to be shomer day and night, obviously. Okay? So, and I'm not saying it's easy. The Gemara says Masechet Psachim. Anyone who's single and lives in a city and he doesn't do averot with nashim, Hashem himself announces his name every day in Shamayim. On Mayasin. Well, he's single though.
But it's a different way.
Yeah, no, but listen, today there's a lot of averot out there. What in the generations of our fathers, let's go 50 years ago, they had all this znut in their phone? Absolutely. No. They had in the one house you have 4 computers. They had all this kind of studio? No. What? To do the averah for them was a challenge. But there was still. So a person today who's single, the Gemara says, and he lives in the city where there is people always, and he's shomer himself, in Shamayim every day they say, Reuven ben Yaakov on Mayasin. Moisen. Why? Because it's hard. It's hard. It's challenging. For a married guy, it's challenging. Of course, it's against nature. Why? A person's nature is to make zivug all the time. A man's nature is to always have zivug. That's his nature. He always wants zivug.
That's how God created us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So how's connection with
Okay,
this
so the thing. Oh, Stishai, wait. First of all, a person's nature is always to want zivug. Can you make yourself have a zivug? Zivug. Not with a physical entity and be satisfied to not want it with the rest? Can you do that? Hashem gave us that. 3 times a day. Shacharit, mincha, and Arabit. Tefillah is supposed to be such an intimate moment with Hashem. It's supposed to be. It's not. It's supposed to be such an intimate mitzvah that you're supposed to be satisfied with the mitzvah of Tefillah as if you were with your wife. That's the way it was meant to be. Because you see, Tefillah, it's quiet. It's low voice. When a person's zivug with his wife, everything's quiet, dark, right? Baruch atah Hashem hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. B'shalom zivug. I'm making zivug with Hashem. You have to try. Now, if you're coming to tefillah and everything is tapar. Where are you today? Come to minyan. No, come. And okay, 45 minutes, an hour, we're gone. We gotta go. Obviously, the zivuk happens, but you don't feel the connection anymore. So therefore, when you go outside, just the smallest touch to your Yetzer Hara, because your Yetzer Hara is very sensitive. He's like a baby. The Gemara says 3 things are the same: women, children, and Yetzer Hara. All they do, give me. That's it. That's all they want. Give me, 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 until you blow up. So the slightest touch to the Yetzer Hara, okay, give me. I want right now. I want it right now. More. Give me more. I'm never satisfied. How's a child? You give him a toy, he wants 20 toys. You give him 20, you give him 40. Same thing with the opposite gender. You give them one, you give them a hand, they ask the arm. You give them the arm, they ask the head. Everything goes. That's what happens. The Yetzer Hara is the same thing. You give them something, they ask for everything. How do you break it? Sounds like Hamas is already dead, definitely. Now we gotta deal with the guys in the north. How do you deal with it? That's the kasha. If you don't fight a spiritual battle, the physical battle doesn't work either. You need siyata d'shmaya. Without siyata d'shmaya, you're never gonna win. That's siyata d'shmaya. Let's go to Yishai. Let's go back to Yishai. Yishai goes with his maid. He thinks this is his wife. But yet, it's an Avera. Lo taturu acharei le'ravchem acharei. And he has pagam machshava. But yet, we say he never sinned. I want to tell you something about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem loves you so much. Hashem wants you so much. He wants you. No matter how much you could, the Zohar says, no matter the love you could feel for your child, it's nothing the love Hashem feels for you. That's the way the Zohar explains. The Zohar says the love that Hashem wants you all the time. Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Ein Sof, the infinite one. Hashem says in the Torah, I chose you out of all the nations of the world. Guys, you realize that we're here for 3,300 plus years? The Goyim try to kill us, maim us, finish us, defeat us. We're still alive and thrive. Hashem loves every Yid so much. Doesn't matter where you're from the ends of Europe to the ends of Africa. Hashem loves every Yid so much. The Zohar says, Hashem takes the neshama of a Jew and he kisses it. He kisses it. Now, Hashem kisses. Hashem's kiss is the real kiss. That's the real kiss. Whatever you kiss is a fake kiss. It's not a real kiss.
What it's been real?
A real kiss is, a person that goes against HaKadosh Baruch Hu, really he doesn't deserve life. He loves you so much, no matter how much you go against him, he gives you life.
So you won't say give it a chance?
The Tomar, that's not a chance. He does it willingly. The Tomar Devorah says, Rav Moshe Cordovero, he says, Hashem is Noseh Avon. What is Noseh Avon? What's Noseh Avon? El Rachum Echanun. What's Noseh Avon? Noseh Avon means, says Rav Moshe Cordovero, when you make an Avera, you made a bad angel. Malachi Chabala. That angel needs life. So he says to Hashem, who's my father? This guy who made the Avera. So I have to get my life from him. Hashem says, Noseh Avon. I'm going to give you life till he does teshuvah. Hashem bears all of our averot. Noseh Avon. That's how much he loves you. Now imagine a person does chatat yemei neurim. Till the age of 18, 19, 20, chas shalom. He does averot with this brit milah. Thousands upon millions of mashchitim. Who gives all these mashchitim life? They live, but they're alive. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives them life. And he loves you so much, he gives you 80, 90. Do you know people in England in the Industrial Revolution used to live to the age of 35? People used to live used to work in factories. They used to live till 35 years old. That was the rate of life back then. 35. If they lived to 50, it was already
Life expectancy.
That was the life expectancy at 35 years old. Person used to live in the city.
That was the norm.
Because that was they lived in bad conditions, right? But still, what's today? Today, life expectancy in the United States is 80 years old. Bigvurot, 80 shana. Hashem loves every one of us. And He loves us mamash. But at the same time, Hashem is a king. And a king you also need to fear. He's your father, Avinu Malkeinu. Hashem says, there is one Avera nobody could run away from. Even if you're Yishai. It's Pegam HaMachshava. Even Yishai fell in the Gabriel. Yaakov. Amram too, but Yaakov, we don't say Met Be'et Yoshel Nachash. Also, Amram. How did Amram, this week's parasha, fall in the Machshava? He divorced his wife, Yocheved. He was separated from his wife. And Amram is Adam. And Chava is Yocheved. He was Pogem B'Machshava. How old was Yocheved when she gave birth to Moshe? 130. How old was Chava when she gave birth to Sheth? 130. Moshe Sheth, the same way they separated, that's the same age that she gave birth. It's all was B'Machshava. You can't control your Machshava. You have to try to control your Machshava. But it's hard to control your Machshava. Anybody here knows, the only thing that the angels don't know, but only Hashem knows, we say the 13 principles of faith. Every morning, Hashem Yodea Machshavot B'nei Adam. Hashem knows our Machshavot. Hashem knows our Machshavot, but who doesn't know our Machshavot? The angels don't know our Machshavot.
If they knew, they freak out.
If they would know, we would have not a place to live. Hashem sees our machshavot. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, even with your machshavot, it's as if you didn't have those machshavot. Even Yishai met be'et Yoshel Nachash. Hashem doesn't count your machshavot if you work on yourself. If you work on yourself. If you don't work on yourself, what happens to your machshavot? They turn into your maaseh. The machshavot become so strong, they take over your body. And then your body turns into the avera. But if you work on your machshava, now Rav Chaim Kanevsky says something. You can't beat your machshavot.
You can't?
You cannot. It's a gladiator ring over there. You don't live in a farm where you see donkeys and sheep all day. You see the world. How do you beat your machshava? How? Rav Chaim, obviously, I'm not talking about a guy who's doing Pagam Ha'enayim. Rav Chaim Kanevsky said there's only one way. No.
Yes.
Tefillah. You have to ask Hashem to help you. Without that, you're not going to win.
So you want to say whatever you are?
Whatever you are,
say the desert of forests doesn't help you?
it doesn't going to help. Your machshava always wants it. Even Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu. He fell in the Avera. He married 2 sisters. He's not allowed to do that.
Yeah, but at his time there wasn't restriction.
That's an answer. That's what we call an answer. But it's not the answer. Lamaisa, he fell. That's why he didn't die in Eretz Israel, says the Ari.
But what if his father was kept?
So says Rabbeinu Ha'ari, he was supposed to marry Leah, wait till she died, then marry Rachel.
Oh.
So anyways, Rachel didn't live a long life.
No.
Yeah. Okay, but he said it. But to not go over the Isra, you should have done that. This is the Rabbi Nari, Pashal Bahalot, Pashal Pesukim. You can look at it in yourself. Even Moshe Rabbeinu, remember he married the Ethiopian queen? But he put the cherev, the sword between him and her. Ya'anu, we're not mixing over here. But still he didn't die in Eretz Yisrael. And Yosef, his nitzotzot came out of him. You know, we say Yosef was fighting his Potiphar's wife, but the tipot came out of him.
From the hand.
Rebbe, no tipot come out of no hands. This is not over here sci-fi. Okay, tipot don't come out of hands or legs. That's lishon nikiya. It's lashon nikiya. It's a clean way of talking. It came out of him, mamash.
It's human.
It's a human being. What do you mean? The woman is making him crazy for 1 year. The Gemara says she changed her clothes 3 times a day. Shacharit, Mincha, Arvit. Probably on Shabbat 4 times she changed it. Rosh Chodesh 5. Yom Kippur 6.
Still, it's not his fault. Not by himself. It's not like
Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef HaTzadik. But still.
It was not by purpose. That's the main.
And Yosef on Tzaddik. But still, he doesn't have a zichut that his flesh, his bones went to Eretz Yisrael. Don't worry, Hashem is not going to judge like Yosef HaTzadik. Don't worry, we're far from Yosef HaTzadik. You know what we are, Rabbi Isai? We're the Ekev. Vaya Ekev Tishmeun. Don't worry, the world stands on us. We're still good. But we're far from Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef HaTzadik was the Rosh, he was the Chabad. We're already at the last nitzotzot.
We're calling Shacharit already.
Don't worry. But, the first day. But the point is, Rabbi Isai, Hashem doesn't count your machshava. Hashem doesn't count. If you work, like Yishai, if you work on your machshava, if you honestly want to work on your machshava, Hashem won't count your machshava. Because only who knows your machshava? Hashem. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows your machshava. Angels don't know your machshavot. But that doesn't mean that you have to now let your machshavot take control of you. Because if you do that, then what's going to happen at the end? You're going to fall. Of course you're going to fall. So you have to know one thing. The only thing that's going to help you control your machshava is tefillah. You have to ask Hashem for help. Rav Chaim Kanievsky says, even if you daven all your life and you see no change, continue davening. Kaveh el Hashem, chazak v'yametz libecha, v'kaveh el Hashem. Pray to Hashem, hope to Hashem. You see it doesn't work. Again, pray again. Don't think one thing finishes. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a secret. There is one thing a person could do to make his zchuyot very big. First of all, we see that Am Yisrael had no zchuyot in Mitzrayim. They had no zchuyot. One zechut they had. They didn't have assimilation. I'm talking from the Pasuk. You're right. I'm talking from the Pasuk. The Pasuk says, no one out of the 12 tribes intermarried. Number 1. Baruch Hashem. It's a big thing, and I think that also Klal Yisrael today goes with their Torah and mitzvot, very low rate of that stuff, but there still is. Says Rabbeinu Ha'ari, when Hashem sees that you don't mix your zera with Chas v'Shalom, the zera of Goyim, then He calls you Kadosh. He says, you're Kadosh, I'm Kadosh. The Torah is Kadosh. That's called Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Why do we say 3 times Kadosh? Hashem is Kadosh, Am Yisrael is Kadosh, and the Torah is Kadosh. But you're only Kadosh if you don't mix yourself with the Umot HaOlam. If you mix yourself, you're not Kadosh. You got to make a tikkun for that.
That's why you pause after the person.
Absolutely. And that's why we also pick ourselves up when we say Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Every time we say Kadosh, we pick ourselves up. Every time you say Kadosh, you should remember one thing. Says Rabbeinu Ari, you're giving person misses a minyan, he's missing all this stuff. You should know that. Especially Shacharit. When you say Kadosh, Kadosh, you're giving to your Shoresh Neshama special powers to fight the whole day. Pay attention. When you pray in a minyan, you don't pray in a minyan, you have different powers the whole day. Don't believe me. Take a notebook, say today. I don't know. Chav Bet Tevet, January 2nd. I didn't pray with a minyan. Check how many averot you did. Then look, January 3rd. I pray with a minyan. Check how you were strong. If you don't see a difference, my name is not Shalom. It's Bar Yochai, no kidding. So, but my point is that there's a difference. When you make Chazara, the Ari says 3 things are very strong. I only remember 2. Forgive me. One is Chazara. When you do Chazara.
In Shul.
Of course. Where are you going to do it? Number 2, Krat Shema Lamita. Krat Shema Lamita, it's a preparation for the next day. Imagine going into the war without any preparation. You don't know who you're fighting, what you're doing. It's a guy who doesn't do Krat Shema Lamita. Person, it's not a chiyuv. But a person who does Krat Shema Lamita, it's a preparation for the whole day. Now, one thing I want to say from this week's Parashat, very important thing for me. Something that I used to be very strong in, that I used to try to do a lot, but I've been very lax lately. I hope to get back to my original strength in this subject. And it's for this week's Parashat. There is a very big problem in Klal Yisrael today. Lots of singles. Lots of people who can't find their zivug.
Too much freedom, that's why.
Okay, we could argue about what's the reason. But at the end of the day, it's the truth. And not only that, they say for every Jewish boy, there is at least 3 Jewish girls. But still, I was giving you a good number. But still, so many people can't find their zivug. Now, first of all, it's impossible to be shomer, to do shovavim if you're single. You could do it. But to be truly shomer, you have to prove, you gotta be mekadesh. You have to be, how do we call marrying a woman? Kiddushin. Kiddushin, kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. We have to daven for all those people who can't find their zivug. Even if you think it's their fault. Even if you think it's their mistakes. Even if you think that they will never find. You still have to daven for them. You must. The tikkun, the biyat HaMashiach will only come when everybody finds their bat zug. So and bring children.
Some different person cover different one?
I'm going to tell you something. If you know a person who's married, doesn't want to bring kids, you will do the biggest mitzvah in your life to convince them to have children.
You mean?
I mean, a lot of young people today get married, don't want to have kids. I'm going to wait.
Have to teach him?
Yes. Whoever does that, by the way, Gadol avono mineso. Gadol avono mineso. To do this is a big avera. Big avera.
And there's no guarantee for them living.
There's, of course not. I know specifically cases where they thought they were healthy and good, and then when they tried, they couldn't have. I know divorces too afterwards happen.
But it says 10 years, right?
Listen, they say it says many things. You know, nobody's gonna wait 10 years these days. If you people today, they're used to. This is the disease of today, social media. Flip. Something new. What is that? New. Everything has to be always new. He sees his wife. Okay, doesn't work out. Hi, new. What do you think is gonna happen over there? No. You gotta delete all that garbage.
Too much choices.
That's the problem. Not that it's too much choices and too fast. And too fast. Everything is quick. People think, hi, it's okay, listen, I'm just watching. It's a disease. A very bad disease. Very bad disease. I don't know any way of getting out of it except for tefillah. I don't know any way of getting out of it.
Torah not accepted?
Torah is accepted, but I don't... You see, the problem with Torah, you need to be... You see, something good, you need to get used to it. Something sweet, something delicious. To get used to it, you need time. But what the world taught our children, there's no time. You need to have it now. But Torah is just the opposite. Time, wait. 40 days. What did Am Yisrael do? 39 days and 6 hours. Egel HaZahav. Wait, 6 hours. 6. You already waited 39 days. No, there's no tzirpenia. Is that it right? There's no patience. Patience is the key. Men have patience. Women have no patience. That's why Hashem gave them the mitzvah of cooking.
Wait, say that again, Rabbi?
Cooking. I'm not joking.
You said women have no patience?
Have no patience. Women have the mitzvah of cooking. It's a mitzvah, by the way, cooking. You know, when they cook, they're making the zivug, like we do in Sim Shalom. Fire, water, there's a pot, there's a kli. It's like Shemot Yisrael for them. What did you think it is, huh? L'shem yichud kuchab rechush chiter. Already says zivug aydeh bishul. Bevadai.
That's why my wife is not stop cooking.
Don't tell them these things. They're not going to connect to it. They cannot. It's not... There's a ketze. It's ketze. Everything for them is bepashtut. Has to be bepashtut. You ever see a woman doing kavanot harashash? Even if they could, they cannot. There was one. Devorah HaNeviah. That was 3,000 years ago. There's no kind of thing. No patience. There's no like Yetzer Hara. No patience. Now Yetzer Hara is sweet. It feels good. You understand? Because of the nachash, we want that. We want that poison. It's not really poison. I shouldn't say it like that. We want that ta'ava. It's a good ta'ava. If it wasn't for that ta'ava, the Gemara says nobody would have kids today. Everybody here would be in the base medrash from the more... You wouldn't even sleep. The Gemara says if it wasn't for that small ta'ava that we have inside of us, you would wake up in the morning, go to shul, you wouldn't leave shul until you drop on the floor and go to sleep. To that extent. So Hashem had to put a little...
different way.
Yeah, you have to give us that, because prurvu. We need to let out the nishamot. You got to let out the nishamot. You got to recharge. I know a guy used to say it. So, what's my point? Rabbi said we need to daven for the people who can't find their zivug. It's a very big mitzvah. Very big mitzvah. Moshe Rabbeinu also couldn't find his zivug. How old was he when he found his zivug? 40 years old, no? Till he found Tzipora. So he was 40 years old. He wasn't a young buck. So where did he find her? By the Be'er. That's what I want to talk to you guys about today. Kavanah. I'm going to teach you guys. It says over here, and to the Vayishma Paro, Moshe kills the Mitzri. Vayishma Paro tadavar hazeh. Paro hears it. Vayivakesh laharog et Moshe. He wants to kill Moshe, his stepson or step nephew. Right? Vayivrach Moshe mipnei Paro. Moshe runs away. Vayeshev ala be'er. And he goes to the be'er. The well. Anybody else was by the well when he found his wife? Yaakov Avinu. Anybody else digged wells? Anybody else? Yitzchak and Abraham. Right? Be'erot. They dig the be'erot, the be'er, the well. What's the secret of the well? First of all, Rav Nachman ben Breslev says it's a special sigula to daven for your zivug by a body of water.
Ocean?
Like we do tashlich.
Lake.
Yeah, by a lake, a river, or whatever.
Anything.
Yeah. Anything that's a body of water, because water evaporates.
Was the moving or standing water?
It doesn't matter, because water always goes up. The sun hits it, the water goes up. That's called aliyat man. When the aliyat man goes up, your tefillot go up with it. So there's a special sigula that's why we do tashlich during the Rosh Hashanah, right? Some people do it for 10 days straight. Davening by a body of water is a sigula for aliyat man. I personally did it for 40 days. When I was a single guy, I was davening by the water. I used to go by the lake over here, even though it's a man-made lake.
That's very close to the Florida.
Yeah. That's why I got married before. You say, don't remind me, I'm going to my Ochimosu. So to daven by a body of water is a segula, by the way. It's aliyat man. So by the well. Now, the well, the be'er, says Rabbeinu Ha'ari, every body of water that you see, et nazavaitza malchut. It's the Shekhinah. Every time you see a body of water, a be'er, it's connected to the Malchut. The Malchut is also known as Rachel. Rachel Imenu. All of our wives, their neshama comes from Rachel. You understand? So Moshe Rabbeinu, he's the middle column. He's from the dot. Yaakov too, he's Tiferet, the middle column. Where do the middle column is the most important. He's the balancer. Where do they find their batzug? By the water, by the well, by the aliyat man. Now says Rabbeinu Ha'ari, every night you could connect to the well. How? If you open up Kriyat Shema al Hamita. After you say Shema Yisrael in all the 3 paragraphs, you say this sentence. Ya'alzu chasidim bechavod, Yiranenu al mishkevotam, Romemot, Kel, Bigronam. It's a sentence we say in Kriyat Shema al-Amita. V'cherev, that's the sword, Pipiot be'adam. Says Rabbeinu Ha'ari, the first 3 letters of Romemot, Kel, Bigronam, backwards is what? Be'er. The well. Every night, to make your neshama new, you have to put your neshama back into the well. It's a recharge, as you said. You gotta recharge. You need a zechut for that, by the way. Not everybody has that zechut. To recharge it, you have to have this kavanah. Romemot, kel, in the black books of the page 416. Romemot, kel, bigronam, says Rabbeinu Ha'ari, laha'alot nafsho lebe'er elyon. You have to have kavanah over there to pick up your neshama to the well of Shamayim. And over there it gets recharged, then it comes back to you in the morning. Now to do that kavanah, there are 2 names of Hashem that have a lot of dinim. What are those names? Huh? Elokim. Elokim and Amonai. To sweeten them, you have to combine it with a Havaya. With Yud K Vav K. Yud K Vav K. Yud K Vav K. If you're going to take 86 and 26, 65 and 26, you're going to get exactly 203, which is Gematria Be'er. It's not in your book?
I can.
Let me see.
If I'm missing, I don't know. Is there?
Yes, it's on top of the page, huh? It's right here.
Oh, okay.
Romemot Kel Bigron. Okay, now, to use the kavanah, all you gotta do is look at it and have it in mind. You have to do it like this. So he said Elokim in Havaya and Amonai in Havaya is gonna be Gematria Be'er. Be'er, right? Be'er Ha'elyon, Rachel. Okay? How do you do? You have to combine the 2 names. Yud and an Aleph. K, and a Lamed. Vav, Hey, and then a Hey, Yud and Mem. You see how I combined the two names together? Havaya and Elokim. Same thing over here. Yud, then an Aleph, then a Hey, Dalet, then a Vav, then a Nun, then a K, then a Yud. If you take these two names together, it's going to be Gematria Be'er. These are the Be'erot that Yitzchak was digging. He was preparing the place for us, for our Nishamot. If you do this Kavanah, you're able to uplift your Nishama to that Be'er, recharge it, so the next morning you're going to wake up with invigorated spirits, La'avodat Hashem.
Without kavanah, it doesn't.
And also, if you say it, that's also good, but not as strong. Now, what I want to say, whoever is single, it's good to have this kavanah. Why? He needs to go to the Be'er. Yeah.
Translate here.
He needs, like Moshe went to the Be'er, Yaakov went to the Be'er, Yitzchak dug the Be'erot, Avraham dug the Be'erot. Where did Eliezer find Rivka? By the Be'er Hamayim, Be'er Sheva. So too, you need to connect to your Be'er. You need to connect to your Be'er. So a person is single, this kavanah could connect you. Why? The Zohar says, Tikkun Zohar says, and I have this, I put a bookmark over there. The Zohar says, you want a house? Build the sukkah for Hashem. You want good clothes? Buy a nice tzitzit for Hashem. You want a wife? Do everything. L'shem yichud kudsha b'rechu shchinte. Everything to Hashem is what? Midah kineged midah. So too, it's my hidush over here. We see the tzaddikim went to the Be'er. You also got to go to the Be'er. I'm not hocus pocus. I'm not going to be here writing you kamiyot. I'm going to give you something you could do for yourself. Go to the Be'er. Rachel. Connect to it. And Be'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach, your whole life. And Be'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach, may you find your Be'er Elyon. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen. Amen.